How to target the trapezius. Hi, I'm Hayley from Parallel Coaching, and in today's video we're going to explore the big muscle on the back, which is called the trapezius. This muscle is really important for your programming as a FITPRO, so we're going to really understand how that fits in, and we're going to understand about the origin and insertion as well. Now, before I get started, I just want to let you know that you can test your knowledge on today's content by clicking the link that is alongside this video, and it will take you straight there to 3 mock questions. Also, if you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you click the red button so that you get more videos just like this. Now, before I go in and understand and explain really exactly what the trapezius is, I want to tell you something that I notice. As an assessor and as a tutor, I mark a lot of workout plans, a lot of session plans, a lot of periodization plans, all for the level 3 personal trainer, all for people that are coming back and studying. So as a result, I've seen a lot of things. I've seen a lot of plans. Now, inside those plans, I have to tell you, the trapezius is the most forgotten about muscle ever. It's the one that people forget. They always remember the biceps, they might remember the lats, they might remember the chest, the shoulders, but for some reason the trapezius often gets left out. And that's why I really wanted to make this video, to be honest, is because I don't want to see it left out anymore. It's part of a really good balanced program to ensure we include exercises for the trapezius. It's not a tiny isolation, it's a really big muscle, and we use it in a lot of exercises, which is what we're going to explore today. So I want to make sure that you know how to use it and that you make sure you're using the right parts of the muscle fibers based on your client's goals and abilities. Now, let's explore what the trapezius is. The trapezius is a big muscle on the back. It makes up a diamond shape. And because of its really distinctive shape, you can actually see it in a very lean person. It's right on the surface. And you can see some of the fibers in place. So we're going to understand that there's actually 3 portions to the trapezius, 3 regions. The very first is the upper trapezius, and this is responsible for elevating the scapula. Now, the scapula are our shoulder blades at the back. The job is to elevate it up towards your ears, and it creates this sort of shrugging position. Whereas the mid trapezius, the fibers that make up the mid part, squeeze the shoulder blades back towards each other, which is called retraction. And then the lower fibers of the trapezius actually force the shoulder blades downwards, which is what we call depression of the scapula. So now you've got these 3 different portions, each doing very different actions. So when we're choosing exercises for our clients in their session plans or on their gym sessions, we need to make sure that we're actually choosing to activate the part we wanted of the trapezius. We're not just randomly choosing an exercise because it mentioned trapezius in there somewhere. We know that we're using the right joint action for what our client needs. Now, the trapezius is often something that people don't activate very often and can be very weak, particularly in the mid fibers. And this is usually shown as like a kyphotic position, whereby someone is rolling forward of the shoulders. They've usually got quite tight chest and weakness in their mid fibers of their trapezius, in which case they'd really benefit from doing exercises that are more mid fiber. However, some people would benefit from elevating the shoulders more and others from depressing the shoulders more. So we can really start to influence it based on how our clients move, their posture, and also what other types of exercises and muscle activation occurs in their session plan. So let's understand a bit more about the trapezius. Where's the origin and where's the insertion? So first of all, the first origin point is the very base of the skull. Now, this very base of the skull is the first origination point, and then it runs all the way down the spinous processes of the spine, all the way down to the bottom of the thoracic. So it covers the base of the spine and then C7 all the way down to T12, which means it's basically all of the thoracic vertebra are touched by the origin points of the trapezius. But their insertion point is the spine of the scapula, which is the knobbly bit that goes across the back of the scapula, and also the lateral clavicle. So the clavicle is our collarbone here, but it actually attaches onto the lateral part of that. So you've got this great big diamond shaped muscle at the back, and understanding that the origin is through the middle and then the insertion is on the outside points, you can kind of see how it would force movement of the scapula. So let's understand more about these 3 regions and the types of exercises you can do to help activate each region. First, for the upper fibers, I mentioned earlier, this causes elevation of the scapula. You can have exercises like shrugs, which is lifting and then lowering. Also, an upright row is a really good exercise for working the upper fibers, and also a farmer's walk, whereby you've got to statically or isometrically hold that position whilst carrying a load. These are all really good for the upper fibers. Then for the mid fibers, you're going to want something that creates retraction. So that's going to be things like a bent over row, a seated row. It could be a cable specific row. There's lots of different types of rows or rear flies that you can do that will activate the mid fibers, but it's all about squeezing those shoulder blades together. Then finally, the lower fibers are going to be things that depress the scapula down. Now, this might be harder to think about, and a lot of people often miss this one out. But these lower fibers are going to create that depression, that pushing down of the shoulder blades. It's going to be things like setting the cable up high and doing a high pull row. So you're rowing downwards and really from a high anchor point. Also, if you're doing like setting up for a pull-up, but just doing the scapular part of the pull-up, that will also do because you're depressing the shoulder blades, and doing a lat pull down. All of these get the lower fibers. So now you've got clear exercises that you can use alongside really understanding what the trapezius does and how to put this into your client plans. This would be really important if you're doing a whole body session with your client, or you're spreading out whole body across the whole week, or maybe even if you're splitting it up just to do a back day. Gives you variation, and it makes sure you've covered all parts of the trapezius fibers. So these are really important parts for your knowledge and your confidence as a FITPRO. If you're looking to understand much more about muscles, understand more about the origins and insertions, and really get to grips with how you use this as a FITPRO, definitely check out our muscle memory flashcards. They'll give you a clear image of each muscle, and then inside that teach you the origin and insertion so that you can memorize it, visualize it, and also have really good beneficial methods of memorizing all your information you need before you go into your anatomy exam. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'd love to know what your big takeaway has been. All you need to do is drop a little comment below and let me know what you've learned from today's session. Outside of that, I will see you on the next video, and take care. Bye.